had to cancel the gym today. I know, because I was going to run an extra 5 miles Wednesday.
Today at 11 on Fox 13. Count on Fox 13 for Tampa Bay's best Gasparilla coverage.
Will it be sunny or stormy? Get your full forecast every day on Good Day.
See for yourself why the food, fun, and entertainment are still growing at the 2026 Florida Strawberry Festival. For a chance to win 4 tickets to your choice of one of the top concerts, just go to fox13news.com and click on the contest link to enter.
Now at noon, a 4-year-old boy killed, his mother charged with murder. The new information we're learning about this horrifying case. Governor DeSantis comes to Hillsborough County with a new plan to beef up school choice. And a new resource for desperate pet owners, a database that could reunite them with lost cats or dogs.
From Tampa Bay's #1 news station, this is the Fox 13 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Linda Hurtado. Thanks so much for joining us. In St. Petersburg, a woman faces first-degree murder charges accused of killing her 4-year-old son. Detectives say Finley Cullum's 16-year-old sister came home from school to find her mother holding the boy's body in a bed with blood throughout the house. The medical examiner found he had been suffocated. Police say the children's mother, Diana Cullum, stabbed herself. They found a knife and a note at the scene, but they could not say exactly what was in that note, but they do believe that the mom wrote it. There's no history of police calls to the address, and investigators don't know about Diana Cullum's mental health history. One neighbor told us she often saw the mother and little boy outside walking their dog.
I can't.
No,
I cannot.
I
cannot even.
Anything like
I cannot
that.
imagine something like that to happen to little ones, to anyone. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. I'm just shocked.
A lot of these officers, they have kids, and then you have the 16-year-old that's coming home from school and finding her brother and her mother, and then you're just having the father come here. So right now in the neighborhood, so everybody's heart is heavy.
Well, Diana Cullum will have a first appearance in court this afternoon. The governor is touting the state's school choice efforts. He held a press conference at Grace Christian School in Valrico, announcing how Florida is signing onto a national plan to beef up school choice. Fox 13's Evan Axelbank is live there now to explain for us. What can you tell us, Evan?
Well, first of all, he says that the effort behind school choice here in Florida does have a lot of momentum behind it, and he did have some statistics to back that up. The governor did criticize the aspect of the law that requires states to opt into the program, which Florida has now done, as opposed to just making it blanket U.S. policy. He insisted that Maryland, which have cities like Chicago and Baltimore, he says those areas would benefit from the program as well. The tax credit is going to be available to federal taxpayers starting in January of 2027. So I guess, Lindy, that's all of us if you talk about federal taxpayers, right?
All right, Evan Axelbank, thanks for updating us. Polk County School Board members have unanimously approved a plan to rezone the district's high schools. All 16 Polk County public high schools will have their boundaries readjusted. School officials say some schools are overcrowded because of population growth over the last decade, while others are under-enrolled. So the change would balance enrollment and maximize resources. Just before the vote, the school board discussed why that is so important.
We have over 800 portables on our facilities, and if we just look at the high school facilities, we probably have 140 plus portables sitting on our high schools. So this is much needed as it relates to growth.
The school district says they will not require students currently enrolled in one of their high schools to switch to a different site. Those students can remain where they have already started their high school academic career. They're also developing a policy to address siblings, aiming to keep families together where it is feasible and practical. Rezoning the middle schools will be considered next, followed by elementary. All right, staying in Polk County, a substitute teacher in Lake Alfred was arrested for DUI while sitting in the middle of a middle school parking lot. The Polk Sheriff's Office says 44-year-old Mika Dial was arrested by a school resource officer yesterday morning just before 10:30 at Lake Alfred Polytech. Sheriff Judd says Dial was, quote, drunker than Cooter Brown. He was supposed to be teaching our children, but got an education when he went to jail. The school district says staff noticed something was off with Dial, so they wouldn't let him into the classroom. He is now off the substitute list. In Pinellas County, a couple has a warning for dog owners. They were scammed out of nearly $2,000 as they searched for a lost puppy they were training. Dennis Morita says her German Shepherd Hazel slipped through a hole in the fence, and they searched for her and posted her picture online. Someone claiming to be a sergeant with the St. Pete Police Department called and said Hazel had been hit by a car and was taken to an emergency vet. The caller even sent them this picture of the dog on an operating table, wow, saying they needed $1,900 for surgery. The Maritas sent the money and were told to pick up Hazel the next morning, but Hazel turned up later unharmed. Marita now believes the photo was sent by a scammer and created by AI.
I should have known, but you know, when you're in that heat of the moment, it's really hard to concentrate. It was so gut-wrenching. These scammers are out there. They're going to do whatever they can to play on your emotions. And so take a deep breath, think about it, and verify every information you can.
Well, they think Hazel found her own way home and was just lost overnight. Luckily, his bank flagged that fee and marked it as a fraud, so he did not end up losing any money. And on the subject of lost pets, a new resource in one local county could help find them faster. Manatee County Animal Welfare has created an online database for missing animals. And Fox 13's Heather Healy is in the newsroom to break it down. Yeah, Heather. A new health alert from international medical associations after several young patients have died or suffered severe reactions to general anesthesia. Anesthesiologists believe they've discovered an alarming link to patients of Venezuelan ancestry. And parents and young patients are increasingly being asked about their genetic history ahead of procedures. Fox 13's Kelly Cowan explains more. Thank you, Kelly. Well, a big chunk of the country is still digging out from the weekend winter storm, and airports across the country still trying to recover from thousands of flight cancellations. That story's coming up. And Jim is going to tell us if we're going to see any temperatures over, what, 60?
It's going to be a struggle this week to really warm these temperatures up. And it was another cold one this morning, but you look outside right now, you're seeing a lot of sunny skies, but that temperature is still out of Clearwater Beach. 50 degrees with that wind coming out of the north at 7 miles an hour. 55 here in Tampa. We had those freezing temperatures to our north. You've rebounded those temperatures back into the 50s, but it's going to be another cold night tonight. We have more freeze warnings up. We'll talk about that. We'll look ahead to Gasparilla because it's going to be a cold one. We'll talk about that coming up.
Air travel is starting to return to normal after snow and ice forced the cancellation of 17,000 flights over the weekend. But one airline was hit the hardest. Fox's Brooke Taylor has more from Dallas. All right, so the coolness continues. It's a nice little break.
Yeah. I mean, especially because when we think when we get in June, July, August, we'll be saying, hey, you know what? It wasn't so bad. Some of that cold weather.
Except I think people are worried about this weekend a little.
Yeah, I mean, you got Gasparilla.
Two big events,
yeah. It's going to be definitely very cold out there. You look outside right now, it's a nice looking view, but it is cold. And we've had a number of cold days, and we're setting the stage for yet another chilly night for tonight. You see all the clear skies and that wind still coming out of that northerly direction this morning. Yeah, we're down to 53 here in Tampa, 35 in Wesley Chapel. I think that was, I'm not sure what happened there, but it certainly wasn't 52 in Brooksville this morning. And we will continue to see these very cold temperatures because of just all this cold air coming straight down out of Canada, being pushed down with that northerly wind. You look at the true color satellite imagery here, all the clear skies over us, a few high clouds passing through. We are seeing more clouds down across the southern end of the state, but still plenty of sunshine as we go through the rest of today. We've struggled, but we've made it back up to 55 here in Tampa. Wesley Chapel 51, Brooksville 53 degrees, Lakeland 54, Sarasota currently sitting at 55 degrees, even as you head down across South Florida. Miami currently at 62 degrees, so on the cool side there, and it was a very slow start, but Tallahassee's back up through the 40s, trying to make it into the 50s. And that wind, still, it's a cold one coming out of that northerly direction in some cases. Still seeing those gusts up to about 20 miles an hour in St. Petersburg. Over on the other side of the state, over in Vero Beach, seeing that wind gusting up to about 22 miles an hour. So high pressure continues to work its way across the southeast, and we've got a number of fronts working their way through. And still just a lot of this cold air air dropping down out of Canada. You can still see a few of these areas of some snow flurries back across Iowa, back across the Great Lakes as well. And these temperatures, they're warming up, but they're still very chilly across the entire country. Chicago 9, Minneapolis 5, Fargo 2 below zero, Atlanta improving, currently sitting at 41 degrees. So for tonight, you see the purple shade. That's where we have the freeze warnings. That is inland Hillsborough County, inland Pasco County, and then to the north, and then throughout our inland locations, Polk, Hardy, DeSoto, and Highlands County, right along the coastline. We have those cold weather advisories again for tonight. This is what we expect to see as we head into tomorrow morning here in Tampa, down to about 39. But notice these temperatures flirting with those freezing temperatures in some locations as far south as Arcadia, down to about 31 degrees as we head into tomorrow morning. We will continue with this cold pattern all the way into the weekend, and then another shot of some very cold air heading in our direction. What we have setting up is this area low pressure that's going to be working its way over the state as we head towards Saturday morning. That for us is just all that very cold air right down over us again as we head into the weekend. So we're going to bring a lot of that cold air in right in time for Gasparilla. Could we have the coldest Gasparilla in history? Well, it's certainly a possibility. Back in 2022, we had a high temperature of 55 degrees, and that is right about where we expect to be as we head into this Friday or this Gasparilla this coming weekend. So there is that possibility, maybe a little bit cooler than that. And those wind chills, because that wind is going to be up as well, those will feel like the low 20s as we get into Saturday afternoon. So for today, mainly sunny skies, daytime high 59 degrees. Then for tonight, down about 39 degrees with those freeze warnings as you work your way away from the coastline. 7-day forecast, daytime highs, they stay cold and even more cold heading our way. Sunday and Monday down to about 32 degrees, Linda.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim. Well, they hit the road to plead their case. Coming up next, staff and survivors from Moffitt Cancer Center are in Tallahassee, putting faces and real stories behind their plea for funding.
On Dinner Diaz, indulgence means portion control as we make the perfect pumpkin Oreo s'mores cupcakes.
Today at 1 on Fox 13.
Well, much more to come in our next half hour. We've been talking about the cold across the country, and apparently it's too cold for penguins. The 3 weeks and 3 weeks after U.S. forces captured Nicolas Maduro, Secretary of State Marco Rubio testifies about the operation and the current state of Venezuela.
You're watching the Fox 13 News at Noon.
Just over 3 weeks after the U.S. military captured former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, the future of that country is still taking shape. But as Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, officials say the U.S. is prepared to intervene again if Venezuela's new leaders stray from America's goals. Well, the nation edges closer to another partial government shutdown. We're now just a day away from a critical vote in the Senate. With the ongoing ICE enforcement in Minneapolis, many Democrats in Congress are now willing to upend this week's government funding deadline to target the Department of Homeland Security. Some are even calling for the firing or impeachment of DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. And while some welcome recently lowered tensions in Minnesota with the arrival of the border czar, that may only go so far.
I don't think administrative actions only are going to be enough, but there are some big steps that President Trump could take in the next few days that would signal seriousness.
Stripping funding from DHS would require approval of the House, which is on recess this week. A partial government shutdown is set to begin at 12:01 Saturday morning. More layoffs in big tech. The First Lady promotes her documentary on Wall Street, and an iconic Happy Meal toy is back. Fox business correspondent Lydia Hu has today's business briefs. It's not just us shivering in Florida, shivering right now. Frigid temps have gripped much of the nation. In some spots, it is so cold, even animals you might think are used to the chill can't handle it. Fox's Jody Goldberg shows us how the Long Island Aquarium is making some adjustments to keep all its animals safe. What started as a workplace comedy is expanding. Kind of odd for a show called Shrinking. The new dramedy is back for a third season, and we'll hear from the stars coming up. But first, we're heading to Sarasota for a trip back in time. The golden age of super clubs is back at Michael's on East. And here's a live look outside. Meteorologist Jim Weber will have another check on your forecast when we come back. Certainly looks nice. It looks warm, too.
It does. It has a very cozy look to
warm
it.
tones, yes.
Need that.
Yeah, we do these days.
Yeah, and we're going to continue with these cold temperatures. Here's a look at the temperatures from this morning. I showed these a little bit ago. The numbers, they look much warmer, but there was a mistake on the map. 38, that's what we were here in Tampa this morning. Brooksville, you were down to 24 degrees this morning, so it was definitely a very cold morning. You even had those 20s all the way down into Wauchula and Arcadia at 28 degrees. Now we've warmed up. We've got the sun out. We still have that cool northerly wind. 55 here in Tampa. Wesley Chapel, you're at 53. Lakeland, Winter Haven, 54. Bartow currently at 57 degrees. Even as you head down across the Keys. Marathon in the 50s, 58 degrees right now. Miami at 62, and those 40s still holding on up across the Panhandle. But we are warming these temperatures up. You look across most of Florida, it's anywhere from a few degrees up to 8 to 11 degrees warmer up across the northern part of the state. But even with that much of a warm up, it's still on the cold side. It just shows you how cold this air was that moved down, basically straight down out of Canada. So we have more clouds. Maybe a couple little small showers down across the Keys, but central Florida, northern Florida looking nice with mainly clear skies. That high still working its way through the southeast, and we've got a number of fronts to our north, and there's still just a lot of that cold air in place. As the loop goes on, it's pretty interesting to look at this. You see that somewhat of a hazy look on the satellite loop, and a lot of that is because of very cold ground. Some of that is because of the snow on the ground. It's just a way that the satellite basically detects the clouds, that it gets fooled by some of that very cold air, very cold ground up across the northern part of the country. And you see why, because Chicago, it's 9, it's 14 in Detroit, Buffalo, 12 degrees up into Vermont, Burlington, Vermont, currently sitting at 17 degrees. So it's going to be another very cold night for tonight. Anywhere that you see this purple shade, and that is basically from inland Hillsborough County, inland Pasco County, and then continuing on to the north, from Polk County all the way down through Hardy, DeSoto, into Highlands County. We have the freeze warning for tonight into tomorrow morning. And then along the coastline, we have that cold weather advisory. So this is what we expect to see by tomorrow morning. Right along the coastline, those temperatures are a little more mild in the 40s, but we see plenty of 30s. Even these temperatures climbing or dropping down 31, 32 degrees. We could see some pockets inland down into the upper 20s again for tomorrow morning. We've got that very light wind. We have mainly clear skies, so it sets the stage for another very cold night for tonight. Then we turn our attention to the weekend. We've got a lot of activities happening this weekend. We're going to have this low working its way towards the state. We'll have that rain working its way in early on Saturday. Then this is going to work its way up the East Coast, and this is going to become a big nor'easter. We see the snow along the coastline heading all the way up into the Northeast. But as that is moving away and strengthening, what it does is it drags all that cold air down in our direction. So by Sunday morning, this is what we're going to see. We're going to see mid-20s to our north. Here in Tampa, we're down to about 32 degrees. So that cold it is coming right back at us as we head into next week. Mainly sunny skies. The chill continues for today. Daytime high of 59 degrees. Then for tonight, another cold one here in Tampa, 39 degrees, but even colder as you move away from the coastline. 7-day forecast. We'll struggle to warm these temperatures up into the 60s as we go through the next couple of days, but don't get used to it because the very cold air heads right back in our direction next week. Linda?
All right, Jim, thanks. Apple TV's Shrinking is back. Season 3 of the hit comedy reunites a tight-knit cast. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin talked to them about making each other laugh and what they take away being part of a show about mental health. Well, nobody puts Baby in a corner, but they will put her in a sequel. It's now confirmed a sequel to Dirty Dancing is on the way, and it will star Jennifer Grey, who played Baby in the original film back in 1987. In fact, Grey, who is now 65, is executive producing the sequel. We don't know anything about the plot or other co-stars, but Gray says Patrick Swayze's role of dance instructor Johnny Castle won't be recast. Gray has said there's no replacing him. Swayze died in 2009. And finally this hour, Stephen Colbert's late night show is officially coming to an end. Back in July, CBS announced the franchise would end in May of this year, citing financial challenges. And we found out yesterday the last episode will air on Thursday, May 21st. This all came after the comedian condemned CBS's parent company, Paramount Global, for settling a lawsuit with President Trump over the CBS News interview with former Vice President Kamala Harris. The comedian is set to receive the Walter Bernstein Award from the Writers Guild of America in March. Well, you can't always take things at face value. Coming up, a new exhibit at the Dunedin Arts Center is showing there is so much more than meets the eye. Art exploring the power and complexity of the human face. Next. At the Dunedin Fine Arts Center, a new exhibition focuses on what makes each of us unique, the subtle differences between people's faces. Fox 13 photojournalist Barry Wong showcases Face Value. Face Value will be on display at the Dunedin Fine Arts Center until February 22nd. Was the Super Bowl rigged? Some fans are crying conspiracy after taking a closer look at this NFL graphic from months ago. We'll tell you what you might not be seeing coming up. Maybe they should name him Speedy Gonzales. Take a look at this video from a staffer at the Brevard Zoo in Melbourne. This is not sped up. That is Perdido Key Beach mouse wheel. Wow. This particular mouse species is considered endangered. It's native to a small island off the coast of Florida and Alabama. Wow. The Brevard Zoo is working to build up the population. One commenter on Facebook asked if they fed it Red Bull. That's kind of crazy to think that's not sped up. That's really fast.
It is. That just doesn't look like fun for me.
Right? How long does it keep that up? For sure. All right, was this entire NFL season pre-planned? Conspiracy theorists are getting their tinfoil hats in a twist after taking a closer look at this tweet sent out by the NFL last September. It reads 32 teams with February dreams, but if you zoom in on the graphic, the players closest to the Lombardi Trophy are Seattle Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold, number 14, and New England Patriots quarterback Drake May, number 10. Of course, they are now in the Super Bowl, and some fans, likely following teams other than the Seahawks and Patriots, said it was a fix. But NFL's VP of Communication responded to that controversy of the image with one word. He said, no. That's the way to handle it, I think.
Yeah, I mean...
Answer the question, no.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at that. You could come up with all kinds of mixes.
Conspiracy.
Of what
yeah, look, 6 is kind of close to it, too, and 1. I don't know. All right.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, cold. That's pretty much the forecast. As you look 7 days, we got these cool temperatures over the next several nights. We warm up a little bit by Friday. Another front heads our way over the weekend. And then look at that, 32 degrees Sunday and Monday morning.
All right, Jim. Well, the news keeps going on our Fox Local app, on your phone and smart TV.
Look for more news, weather, and sports beginning at 4 o'clock.
But stick around, everyone, because Dinner Diaz is next. Have a great afternoon.